Hey, this is the Entertainment Advice Channel. What I want to talk about today is the topic of, is Gen Z ruining entertainment? So for this video, I'm going to explain in a simple and straightforward way the topic of, is Gen Z contributing to decline in quality for entertainment, whether it could be TV shows, movies, video games, music, so on and so forth, when it comes to how good the quality of things are, is what I'll be discussing today for this video in a simple and straightforward way so anyone can understand. Okay, so if you're interested in knowing if Gen Z is ruining entertainment, then watch this video in order to find out, and trust me, you won't be disappointed. So now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes down to the question, is Gen Z ruining entertainment? Absolutely, yes, they are ruining entertainment. But before I go into this topic, I just want to make it clear, this is not going to be another millennial hate Gen Z video, okay? Because Gen Z are people, just like all human beings. I'm certain they can change. Even if they were bad at one point, they can obviously do something better and become a better person, just like how someone who's overweight, or maybe had one bad habit that was very bad, like they smoked or did this and that, had a bad temper, all the things you can imagine, can of course change their ways and become a very good person, okay? Which we have a bunch of people, okay, who've had all those issues, okay? So I want to make this clear, it's not another Gen Z, video saying Gen Z sucks, / rage bait type crap. I'm just speaking honest truth here, okay? Because I know they can change, so I'm not hating on Gen Z, I'm just speaking honest truth here, okay? So now let's continue on with what I want to discuss for this video. So when it comes to the topic of this Gen Z ruining entertainment, absolutely 100% I believe they're ruining entertainment. And the reason why I believe they're ruining entertainment is because there's a few reasons why, but one of the main reasons why Gen Z is ruining entertainment is their mindset for entertainment, okay? Their way of thinking, especially if they grew up in an era where this way of thinking took off significantly, is that entertainment is subjective, which means there's no such thing as a right or wrong way when it comes to making quality entertainment, okay? Everything is right, okay? Just like if you're making music on a piano, you can play it any way you want, it doesn't matter how bad the combination is, as long as you create something, it's good, okay? It doesn't matter, as long as somebody likes it, it's still technically good. But that way of thinking is actually extremely flawed, because the truth of the matter is, not only is that not true, for that matter, okay, the truth of the matter is we're talking about a basic standard when it comes to entertainment, okay? Whether it could be TV shows, movies, video games, music, any type of entertainment you can think of, but specifically for this video, I'm discussing story-based entertainment, like TV shows, movies, video games, all that type of stuff, okay? Like, when it comes to those types of things, the truth of the matter is, you have to have a basic standard, okay? Because when you're making something for a main audience of people, okay, a lot of people, you have to have something known as structure, okay? You have to have something known as that, okay? A basic structure that will determine what will be likable, just like basic story structure, okay? We have a beginning, we have a middle, which has a climax, and an end, okay? Which actually, many people don't know this, but literally many cultures throughout the world have many story type structures that have existed, and look at who's the most successful. And that is an example right there. And the truth of the matter is, somewhat my point is, when you're making something for a large audience of people, like entertainment, like TV shows, movies, video games, and all that kind of stuff, you have to figure out what is the majority of people gonna like, okay? And if you can figure out what the majority of people are gonna like, okay, as well as take into consideration, it actually has a plot that makes sense, it has, not just a plot that makes sense, it has dialogue that makes sense, everything comes together, plot holes, and stuff, which is very technical and very subjective. The truth of the matter is, like I was getting at before, you have to figure out, like, what is something the majority of people gonna like, okay? Just like if you, for example, examples I'm giving, what are stories that people tend to like? Like, do you notice people tend to like action, adventure type stories? Do you think people tend to like maybe stories maybe about spy more? Like, you figure things out, okay? Which obviously determines how successful something's going to be. Which, of course, companies have realized this for a long time, that there's something as having a good foundation. There is a structure that is more successful than others. So that in itself, since there are rules to it, is, guess what? Objective. So it's not subjective, okay? But the thing about Gen Z is that they have the mindset, okay, everything is right, nothing is wrong. So, let's forget about those rules and just make things come out anyway it's supposed to, and let's support things that obviously don't follow that basic structure at all, which just makes things even worse, okay, when it comes to the quality of things in general as a whole, okay? And that's the problem with Gen Z, okay? They just don't have that way of thinking. Everything is just, every answer is right, which is actually completely wrong. So as a result of that, that is the reason why a lot of Gen Z things are not of the greatest quality, that they support, whether it be story-based media or even music. But specifically, like I said, for video, the thing they support is just not a good idea. It's just not that great, because their mindset is everything is correct and whatever personal preferences, and there's no such thing as rules of what's good and what's not, and as a result, everything fucking sucks, and that's their way of thinking, and that's why all the things they produce is so damn bad, at least all the entertainment they support is so terrible. So that's their way of thinking. So in short, to sum things up, I definitely highly with the Gen Z stance when it comes to entertainment. There is basic structure. We have different preferences, yes, as absolute as a whole. But aside from the fact that we as human beings have different preferences, there is a fundamental structure for when it comes out and it's produced. Whether it could be things like the type of topics that they talk about for the story, okay? Or it could be like the way the story progresses naturally, or even the way the plot is written, the balance between action, scenes, and story, and all that stuff, that is objective, okay? That can determine, okay, this is what the majority of people are gonna like, so this is the best quality stuff that can be produced. So that's exactly what I'm trying to get across here. But Gen Z doesn't seem to understand that, and a lot of them don't care to understand that. When you say this stuff that, the entertainment you guys are worth shit, all they're just gonna say, oh, you're another old head who's probably one of those people who thinks if, the Beatles and all that type of stuff, no, I'm not that type of person. I'm just pointing out the fact that the entertainment you guys kind of put out there is just really not that great. I'm not being a hater. I'm just being honest. It's really not that great. So to sum things up, when it comes to answering that question, is Gen Z ruining entertainment? In other words, helping ruining entertainment? Yes, I definitely believe that they are. There's other reasons why as well, such as they focus more on hype. They will like something more when all their friends say they like it and all that kind of stuff, so yes, I do believe they are ruining entertainment, but the biggest one of all is just their fundamental mindset when it comes to entertainment. Everything is right, there's no right and wrong answers, which is completely untrue. So in short, to sum things up, yes, I do believe Gen Z is ruining entertainment, but the good news is that I believe they can change. I believe, like anything, like I was getting at for the earlier parts of this video, they can change. I believe they can do better. They can progress, and of course become better. Just like we have videos online that talk about things like this, so I'm sure Gen Z can watch it and learn from it and learn they can change in general. So it's not a hate video against them, like there's a bunch of online. So yes, I do believe they can change, but in all honesty, to be honest with you, when it comes to answer the question of are they ruining entertainment? Yes, they are. I definitely will say yes, they are. But the good news is that they can change through watching videos like this. They can become more educated and change their mindset so we can make entertainment good again. So anyway, this is my video. This is all I have to say. And simply put, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up, hit the subscribe button, and that's all I have to say. So simply put it, bye.